I want to share this. Right, a lot of times people have asked me about reason, the voice of reason. And they've asked me that, look, you say things like, oh, hadith, if hadith come, and what about aql? And, how can you sometimes turn away hadith based on reason? This is the kifaya right here, a very established authoritative text within usul al-hadith, mustalah al-hadith, written by Khatib al-Baghdadi on the science of how to know what is right and wrong within hadith and the whole structures which surround it. Now, when he begins, quite early in, he speaks about what are the different kind of texts you have. He speaks about this concept of tawatur, and he is one of the first people that introduces this concept of tawatur. And I've discussed that, how Ibn Hibban didn't accept it, other people didn't accept it. I don't believe there's any such thing as mutawatir hadith, but he does discuss that separately. Then there is this discussion of khabr al-ahad, which is really all hadith which exist. He says that khabr al-ahad wal akhbar kulluha ala thalathati adrub. So you've got these akhbar are of three categories, three types. And he mentions those which they are going to be authentic, and those which are inauthentic, and those which you're uncertain of. But what I want to bring your attention to is this paragraph here, الضرب الثاني وهو ما يعلم فساده. And he says, and that is the category which it is known clearly, like you clearly know these are false, these hadith. And how? فالطريق إلى معرفته أن يكون مما تدفع العقول صحته. Allah. Does he say it's through the chain? We haven't even got to the chain. क्या chain? दुआ करो, हाँ? चैन आए मेरे दिल को. What is this? Relaxate. This is not to do with the chain. Straight away the text. You know this is fasid, batil, invalid. Why? مما تدفع العقول صحته. The intellect, the reason, voice of reason rejects it. And then he mentions بموضوعها, right, that's to do with his topics. والأدلة المنصوصة فيها نحو الأخبار. And he gives an example. He says عن قدم الأجسام. So for example, if somebody said human bodies have always existed. Now imagine there's a hadith that human bodies have always existed. He says that the voice of reason wouldn't accept this, because you know that human bodies haven't always existed. So you'd reject that. And then he goes on, all those hadith which clash with the Quran, you know are invalid. Like there's no coercion in Islam. But obviously, the coercion thing, I'm giving the example, he just mentions that which clashes with the Quran. But about the bodies, he actually cites that example. So this is a Khatib al-Baghdadi clearly highlighting as an example, just so you are aware, that reason is what immediately tells you whether the hadith is sahih or not. So when people ask that, is this something Mufti is coming up with? Of course it isn't. This is not just Mufti Abu Layth. This is the tradition of hadith. This is one of the earliest authoritative texts within usul hadith by Khatib al-Baghdadi, known as al-Kifaya fi ilm al-riwaya.